Go live when we see you sit down, and then we are live.
Oh, we're live now.
And now we're live. Oh, we're still very bright, but that's okay. We're probably going to be very bright.
Tell us if you can hear us, if we sound all right.
If we sound awesome, because it's Friday and everything should be awesome on Friday.
And I haven't been on a stream in a little while, I don't think, have I? I mean, I was on last week, but I wasn't on the stream.
No,
They haven't seen the stash. She didn't make me shave it.
I haven't. It's starting to get really long now. You're a little washed out, so it's hard to see your stash.
It's a little bright down here, isn't it?
It is a little bright. Do we look okay? Do we look bright?
Do we look insanely bright?
Are we super bright?
I adjusted the brightness. Are we super bright?
Are we very bright? Let us know. I know I'm bright.
Oh, when you leaned back, you're not.
Stay back here? Is it better back here?
Yeah, why don't you sit up in your chair, sit back in it, and we'll both be not super bright.
Then they can see my shirt. I get psyched for psychology. That's what we're talking about today.
We are.
A little bit of psychology. For those who are joining us for the very first time, we hang out for the first 10 minutes of every live stream while we wait for our alphas to get online. Can you see us, though? We really need to know that. We need to know if we're actually live. Are we live? Can they?
It says live.
Hola. Live.
Can you hear us?
Can you see us? Can you see us? They're excited about the topic.
But can you hear us and see us?
But can you hear us and see us?
That's what we really need to know.
We just say yes.
I kind of like sitting back like this. Then we're not bumping
Live.
arms.
Yes, both. Okay. Ginger has saved the day.
Thank you, Ginger.
Thank you, Ginger, for letting us know. Yes. Okay. Awesome. So, guys, we have lots of news. If you guys are not interested in news and you're watching the replay, feel free to zip ahead about 5-ish minutes since it took us a minute to connect. But you should still listen because we have good stuff for you guys. So, first bit of news, we have an event tomorrow. I am speaking in Miamisburg, Ohio at a 2020 goal planning retreat. Lunch is provided. I was very mistaken by the price. I think I said it was like $10 last week and it's like $70. So link for that is down below, but it's well worth it because you're going to be able to hear a lot of different guest speakers talking on different perspectives of goal planning. This is an all-day workshop. It includes, you get like a workbook and like I said, lunch is included and you get to hear a lot of different guest speakers. So this is unlike any other event that we've done where we've spoken at like events where people were selling things. That's not what this is. This is an actual goal planning retreat where you spend about 4 hours with us as well as several other different guest speakers. Is that, ooh.
I won't be able to tell if that did anything for a minute.
Let's see.
Somebody
Looks a little
said
bright.
It was a little bright. And it's mostly like this side of your face that's bright.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so much better.
That looks good. All right, we got it.
That's pretty good.
If you guys are interested in seeing us tomorrow in Miamisburg, Ohio, the link to get tickets is down below. We're going to be attending, taking pictures, and having lots and lots of fun. Second big thing is that we are selling t-shirts, not on Etsy and not for our own benefit. We are selling t-shirts via Bonfire. That way we can do this kind of like fundraiser style campaign, and we needed to get it out quickly for the victims who are currently living through the Australian wildfires. So we're going to be donating to the Australian Red Cross. We went through like a ton of different organizations, and it seems like the Red Cross is our best bet to help as many people as possible, provide, food and medical attention and shelter to those who have lost homes. So if you guys are interested in grabbing a Handmade Alpha t-shirt or hoodie or tank top, those are linked down below. You guys can even customize the colors of those. We have a bunch of different colors available, and we have kids shirts too. So they have the Alpha Wolf logo on them, and they say #AlphaStrong. So I think that so far we've raised over $600 for Australia. Super exciting. We have a goal to sell 100 shirts, and I think we've sold 43 so far. So make sure that you go check that out. Link is down below, and that will be active until the 16th, I believe 15th or 16th. Okay, so make sure that you check those out. Next thing, if you haven't grabbed them already, my 2020 marketing calendars are now available and they're free. That PDF is linked down below. I'll probably mention all of these things multiple times throughout the video, so apologies to those who have heard it all already, but make sure that you grab those marketing calendars because those are going to tell you key shopping dates and holidays that you might not be aware of, and ideal times to launch sales and collections and giveaways. So there is a small typo on those. There's always a typo.
Always a typo.
It's
a lot of material to go through.
This year is a leap year, and I left off February 29th, so just be aware that there's a February 29th this year. That's the only typo that I'm aware of, but if you see any more.
There might be more. It's big.
I just drop me an email. It's probably nothing major.
It's important. Get it downloaded.
Yes, down below.
You should have the marketing calendar.
You need them.
You do need them.
You can print them. You can keep them as PDFs. They're great.
So you know when to do things.
Hi, Bubbers! Look at Bubbers.
He always tries to join us for the pre-stream show.
Isn't that right? Look at his kissy face that he makes when you scratch his chin.
He actually enjoys when you scratch his chin.
He loves it. Last thing. Instagram. Make sure that you guys are following me. We're trying to get to 10,000 followers. That way I can use that feature where in my stories you can just swipe up and it'll take you directly to links. We want to use that for videos. That way when we advertise that we have a new video, it's not like, oh, go to YouTube and search Starla Moore and find this video. Like you can just swipe up and immediately get to the video. So my username is Starla, the letter K, Moore, or just search Starla Moore on Instagram and you should be able to find me. Follow me, and yeah, I think that is about it for our news. So now it's time for a funny story. We had one of our alphas, and I'm not going to say her name or shop yet. You can follow me on Instagram if you want to see more into it because we want to save it for the unboxing. But we had an alpha a few weeks ago send us a package for the unboxing, and we haven't accumulated enough packages to do an unboxing video. In fact, her package is the only one that we've received post-holiday. And we are planning our alpha giveaway very soon. We weren't able to do it in time for the holidays, unfortunately. But we will be doing that as soon as things die down with these events that we're doing. But anyway, so she sends us this package, and we have it in a box where we keep all of our packages that are awaiting the unboxing videos. And Bubbers is just obsessed with this package, and we can't figure out why. He keeps running up to this package and ripping it and pulling it was in like a one of those plastic mailers. It was like a purple plastic mailer, and he was just ripping it open, and the package is open now. He has completely torn it open, but we could not keep him away from it. So a few days later, I get a message from the business owner, which, like I said, I'm not going to shout it out yet because we want to save it for the video, but she messaged me and said, hey, just checking to see if my package arrived, if my package of catnip toys arrived. And I messaged her back and I said, oh, that explains a lot. So she's actually sending us a secondary package to give to Bubbers now. I don't even think I told you that. She messaged me. I haven't had a chance to message her back, but she's sending Bubbers a secondary package to hold him over until he can have his other package because he was so...
See, the thing about Bubbers is he's spoiled. So he does whatever he wants to do.
He does. He runs the show. So
he really does.
All right, guys, we are going to be talking about the psychology of online rejection and haters, and you can apply this to customers. You can apply it to family. This is a general psychology topic that we hope that you guys will enjoy. We asked you guys what type of videos you wanted to see more of, and we were surprised by your responses because a lot of you said that you would prefer to see more psychology-based videos. As
just tight.
Yeah, that's, you know what, that's my bread and butter. That's what I love talking about. And the great thing about psychology is you can apply it to anything. So you can take these concepts that we talk about today and you can use them for business, or you can use them for family, or, you know, just general mindset. Because when you run a business, you have to have a healthy mindset. It applies to everything that you're going to do when it comes to business. So I think that experiencing online haters is something that we all deal with at some point in our life, whether that's, you know, from strangers, which most of the time it is, or even family members. Goodbye, Bubbers. He's going on an adventure.
He's going to tear something up.
So on the day-to-day, we experience more emotional injuries than we do physical injuries, unless you're Mark, in which case he stubs his toe.
Oh, shut up.
He stubs his toe,
No,
and
I don't.
and he hurts himself at least 10 times a day. But, for the normal person, not Mark, we experience a lot more emotional injuries than we do physical ones, right? We feel more emotional pain on the day-to-day, unless you're Mark, and then you don't have emotions.
I don't know, man. I play Call of Duty online every day, so...
Not every day. You just now started.
Yeah, I did. I love it. I'm addicted to it for sure. The new Call of Duty is very good.
You just started like 2 days ago. Just 2 days ago, and now.
I've been playing it for more than 2 days.
I know.
I just started playing it concurrently the past 2 days. So yes, I am subject to mental abuse quite a bit because I play Call of Duty online with people that are my age, but also 12-year-olds who are tough.
Right. Well, you don't take it personally, and I.
No, and I fire right back.
When I get negative feedback, and we get a lot of negative feedback, on the YouTube channel, and most of the time we just delete the comments, because we know that you guys would go after these people if you saw some of the comments.
Unless it's an opportunity for us to educate you guys and maybe educate somebody on how they're being ignorant.
Right. Well, and a lot of the times I will respond, with, hey, if you don't like our content, you don't have to watch it. Like, nobody's making you watch our videos if you don't like them. No one's holding a gun to your head making you watch.
That's what every YouTuber says. They're like, yeah, you're hating on my channel leaving comments, but you left a comment on my video that you watched.
Right.
So
those are usually the comments we get. We don't get a lot of negative comments for our actual Etsy business. We have in the past, though. And, yeah, it does hurt. And even Mark, he is... as strong as he is, he does still
I'm a strong boy.
He's a strong boy, but he does get upset every once in a while when someone makes like a remark about him, and I definitely get upset when people make remarks about me. We get a lot of comments about, or used to, he would like do this with his beard a lot. When we were live, he would like touch his beard, because when he was in the military, he couldn't have facial hair, so it was kind of a new thing to him to have facial hair, and he always fidgeted with it. I've gotten a lot of comments about not looking into the camera, which I have worked on for everyone who was really upset about it. But apparently it was too distracting for some people. And, what you guys don't see is that I'm not looking at a human. You guys are looking at me, and I'm staring into a tiny itty-bitty little camera lens and having to make eye contact with that camera lens.
Which is really awkward.
It is. It can be. But we've gotten better at it.
We have. I'm getting there.
But we do get a lot of criticism on things like this. So why does it hurt? And why is it that you could receive 1,000 positive comments? I could get all these positive comments in the chat, and we know that you guys love us, and we know that everyone in the replay loves us. But then there's going to be that one jerk who in the replay leaves a crappy comment and says, Starla, why do you have facial piercings? You're so immature.
No.
Oh, no.
We got to dress and look a certain way.
But those are the comments that stick out in your mind, right? Or maybe it comes with your guys' products. You have a lot of people who will leave great comments saying, wow, I love this. I love this bracelet. I love this. And then someone says, that looks like something I could buy at Walmart. Or why would I pay that much for that? Or I could get this cheaper somewhere else. Or I could make that myself.
Negativity is a much stronger emotion than positivity. It sticks out in your head a lot stronger.
Exactly. And today we're going to talk about why. So I do have my whiteboard today, but you don't have to move. I'm going to
Magically Eclectic says she's playing Fallout 4 while listening to me. I'm not even going to tell you how many hours I have in that game because it's kind of embarrassing. Fallout 4 is good.
Let's see.
Can you do it without breaking it and killing my cat?
I'm not going to kill the cat. It's secure, right? Can they see it at least?
The little arm things on the back started popping off the other day while we were sitting down here.
We took this to some events with us, so.
Hence the dent.
Yeah, the dent. All right, so. Yeah, don't worry. Don't worry. It was like $45 on Walmart.com.
Dirty whiteboard, dirty.
Dirty whiteboard. So, let's talk about online haters real quick. This is you, okay? Here you are. Yay! We're going to assume, since most of our audience are female, we'll give you some hair. Does that look like a person?
It could be a dude. or a chick. Dudes can have long hair.
That's true. Okay. Well, this is a person, right?
This is a non-binary person.
Exactly. This is our person. This is it. It can be anyone that we want. Just our person. Okay. And this person is going to represent each and every one of you. Okay. Now, we are designed in a very specific way. Humans are. We are designed to live in a small group or a tribe. Our brain has not evolved as quickly as society has around us and as technology has. So we are still designed with the same primary basic functions, those primal functions that our brain evolved thousands of years ago. We have not evolved that much, or the brain has not evolved that much. We haven't had time, but everything around us is evolving, right? So we have a lot of responses and response systems that are completely irrational in this day and age, and we still act on them. So we, as our person, are designed to live in a tribe of, we'll say, 10 to 20 other people, right? So we're designed to live in these very small little circles. So here's our little tribe, right? Now, what does it mean to be rejected by your tribe? Well, it means death. It means that you are the one who, you're living outside of the cave. You're not getting the benefits of food and family and continuing your bloodline by mating with whoever top hunky of the tribe is. You're not taking that top hunky of the tribe. You're not gaining the benefits. You're not sharing the warmth, and you're not sharing the food, and you're not able to hunt together, and you're not sharing these benefits because we're designed to live as a society. We need other people. Humans are not solitary creatures. In fact, today I learned that you are 14% more likely to die early if you are lonely for most of your life, because we are hardwired to live in this tribe, right? So now let's think about modern society. So this is like our little tribe, right? So we'll write tribe. Now, modern society is very different because we have
technology.
We have technology. So we'll have our, can you see this one? Is this one going to be visible?
It's not there yet.
Okay. Okay, so we have...
Yeah, you should be... Yeah, you're fine.
Okay, so we have our same person, right? But now our circle is so much bigger because we have, this is probably going to be my worst laptop ever. That's a laptop, right? We are connected with all of these millions of people. So we're going from having this tribe of, like, we'll say, 20 people to having all of these people that can constantly interact with you. And our brain is not hardwired to take in the feedback from all of these people. So this is why we see celebrities who have these mental breakdowns, right? Like Britney Spears shaving her head. You begin to understand these crazy mental breakdowns when you realize that the brain has been pushed literally to max capacity, to the point where it cannot process any more negative feedback because it's not designed to. If we'll say that this is Jill, and if Betty over here is like, "Hey Jill, your hair's ugly," maybe Jill's like, "Oh crap, Betty needs to accept me or else I might not be able to be in Betty's clique. And if I can't be in Betty's clique, then I'm not going to be able to hang out with Betty's best friend, Bob, who I'm attracted to. And, if I can't hang out with Bob, then I might not be able to hook up with Bob later." That's kind of how on a primal level, our brain is wired. But when it comes to interacting with these people on the internet, these are people that you don't know. You're never going to actually meet in person. You don't know anything about them.
Yep.
They don't know anything about you, and they're basing their opinions of you on probably very little. Mm-hmm. But regardless, your brain is hardwired to take that rejection and say, "Hey, this negative comment, this very negative thing that someone said about you is very significant, and you should pay attention to it." And it hurts because your mind wants you to catalog it and take note of it and change your behavior. When in reality, if you were to do that, God, what would I look like if I were to take every single piece of negative feedback? So we're going from this very small scale tribe of 20 to potentially, in my case, we'll say 10,000 maybe for you guys of different interactions that you guys could come on, have across the internet. And I would dare to say that mine is closer to I would say over 100,000 different interactions that I might have as my popularity kind of grows online. And as your guys' businesses grow, you are going to have more outreach. And that means more of these little connections to other people and more opportunities for negative feedback, which are going to weigh very, very heavily on your mind. So now you guys know how it works. Does that mean that it's going to fix it? No, it doesn't. Being conscious of this is not going to fix it. It is not going to make it any better, and you guys could get negative feedback
today. It's literally
today.
A new thing.
Well,
you got to consider, when I was born in 91, right? Literally no one in my neighborhood, or probably even in my city, had internet. It wasn't even a mainstream thing.
You were connected to the people who were on your immediate block, and that was it.
Exactly. And the majority of our customers are older than us. So y'all remember how it used to be. Everybody had a landline phone. They had one landline phone that they used. Cell phones weren't a thing yet. They were a thing when I was born, but not popular enough that anybody I knew used one. We did have one of those car phones. Did you ever have one of those? One of those car phones that sat up in the front of the car in the car well?
We had a Ford Probe.
I don't know. We had a Caprice.
Okay.
But yeah, the internet's if you look at how technology has evolved over time, we'll just call this year 0 and this 2020. It's really hard to write at this angle. Technology has literally we're up into the 90s here, and then it's whee!
Yep.
That is what technology did. We have not evolved to the point where we understand how to use this technology in a normal fashion yet. And regardless of your opinion on it, it's relatively unregulated.
Right.
The government doesn't have a whole lot of stuff to regulate the internet.
And
you look a couple years ago, and I don't want them to. I personally believe it's a backward step to regulate the internet, but the internet's a new thing. We don't understand how to have literal open communication to anyone in the world at any time with no effort. That's never been a thing before, ever, in human society.
Oh, are you done?
Yeah, I'm done. Sorry.
No, you're good. I was actually
I'm a tech nerd.
I was hoping you'd talk longer.
Well, I'm not.
So let's start. Let's think about human evolution for a minute. We start with the tribe, right? We evolved from the tribe. So this is a very small society. And then we evolved to a more evolved version of the tribe where we have, we'll say a little city. So, we'll say we're living in little huts. We're not just living in caves anymore. We've got a couple little houses.
Huts and shacks and whatnot.
And in this case, lots and lots of people lived in, one house, right? Lots of people, one house. So this is kind of how we'll say community, right?
Yeah.
Community.
Commune.
Okay? And then
that's a U, by the way, not an O.
Oh. Sorry. Community. All right. And then we evolved even more to where we've got more of a radius. Our cities, we'll say
became cities.
Our cities became cities. So now we have actual cities. Does this look like a city?
Yeah. Enough like a city. I don't know what that's supposed to be.
It's a skyscraper.
Looks like somebody flipping me off.
It's a skyscraper. Darn it. That's a sun. Okay. So now we're living with even more people. So we'll say we went from 20 people in the tribe to say maybe 100 people in the community to say maybe what is this realistic? 3,000 people in a city?
What?
3,000 people in a city? Like a city?
15,000 live in New Carlisle, so. Okay.
Happy?
Yeah, small city. I think it requires 13,000 people to be considered a city.
Okay, well.
Anything smaller than that is a township.
15. And then, now we have the internet where we can literally connect with anyone around the world. We can connect with anybody. These are all people that you can connect with. Probably not anybody like down here, because I don't think that they're online much, but I don't know how their Wi-Fi is.
You did a pretty
down
good
here.
job with that.
Yeah.
That's kind of what it looks like between like Alaska and Russia here.
Yeah.
I mean, if you had like a little Japan down here, it'd be perfect.
Oh, that's supposed to be the U.S. and that's Mexico.
Okay, well that looks like the U.S. and that looks like Russia and China.
All right. So, shh. All right, and then we'll just say 15,000 to the whole freaking world. You guys see how crazy this is? Just in this short time, we've gone from tribes to communities to cities to the entire world that we can connect with, where we used to not be able to, we couldn't contact the people over here. These people over here had no idea that these people over here existed.
I still remember when it cost several dollars a minute just to call somebody a state away.
Yeah, exactly.
That wasn't that long ago.
Exactly. So, now we know how that works. And then previously I'd said, is there any way to prevent it? Now that you guys know why it hurts so bad. And
is there any way to prevent haters?
Is there any way to prevent having these feelings where it hurts so freaking bad? And no. And there's a study on this.
I'm not being negative. How am I being negative? Did I say something negative?
No. See? That comment hurts.
Yeah, you don't know what you're talking about. Go away.
Don't really go away.
Yeah, don't really go away, but I haven't said
If you
anything.
guys have criticism, ever, please define it, give a reason why, because we can't improve what we're doing unless you define it.
I don't understand what you're talking about. If you're talking about, my demeanor, it's because I got basically no sleep last night.
But he's still here, guys.
But I'm still here.
Because he loves you. He loves you, and he's here. So, all right, so let's talk about this experiment, all right? So criticizing how your wife draws. We joke! That's how we play! I make fun of his stupid mustache.
My stupid mustache.
And he makes fun of how I draw. He knows that I'm a freaking artist, guys. So, that's just how it is.
Sorry, it was a poor joke.
But it was towards me, and I think that it's fine. So that's what matters, right? You can't tell me how I interpret what he said about me.
Yeah.
That's mine to interpret, and I interpret it as hilarious. So.
Can you believe this guy? Anyway.
All right, so let's talk about this freaking study, okay? There was a waiting room, right? And there were 3 people in the waiting room. And 2 of these people were in on the study. So these guys will say, number 1, that is a 2, because I was thinking 2. Number 1 and number 2 were in on the study. But number 3 was not in on the study. Number 3 had no idea, right? Number 1 and number 2 in this waiting room picked up a rubber ball and started throwing it to each other. 1 would throw it to 2, and 2 would throw it to number 3, and number 3 was like, wow, throwing a ball around, what, crazy. So, and then number 3 would throw it back to number 1, and number 1 would throw it to 2, and then 2 didn't throw it to 3. 2 laughed and smiled, threw it to number 1. Number 1 threw it to number 2. Number 2 threw it to number 1. And number 3 started to feel kind of upset. And then after the study, they explained to number 3 what they were doing. They were trying to gauge if number 3 felt rejected by this study. And number 3 said, yeah, it upset me. I didn't know why. And they said, okay, well, now that you know that this was a study, are you still upset? And he said, well, yeah, it still kind of hurts. So even though he was aware that this was a study, he still felt that sting of having been rejected. That doesn't make any sense, right? But that's how our brains work. Our brains are completely illogical. Our brains are based on these very primal functions that are hardwired into our systems. And even though we can be completely aware that we're doing something completely irrational, we cannot overpower, or it's very hard to overpower our brain's original hardwiring and, you know, these old primal processes that evolved over time. So let's go ahead and we will erase our little guys. Okay, so let's talk about some steps to at least making things better. Like we can't 100% get rid of these feelings, but we can still talk about ways to navigate so that they don't hurt as much. And we can apply this to family, you could apply it to everyday life, you could apply it to negative reviews. We're going to be talking about kind of how to apply them to, we'll say like social media comments, I know are a big one that we see a lot, and negative reviews on products, okay? So, is everything? Stop fighting, Mom and Dad! They're the best friends. It's how they tease. Yes. Thank you. You guys are awesome. We love each other.
Don't draw on
me. He loves me enough to let me draw on them. Okay.
I do have the mouse. I can do what I want.
That's true. He's in control of the mouse. So let's talk about some steps. Step number 1. I don't know why I can't draw on a whiteboard. I can do just
She's
fine.
a great artist. She just draws like a 2-year-old on a whiteboard.
I do.
I'm just trying to see if this person gets any more upset at me.
I think you're just trying to. So
I'm
number
being
1.
a troll if you can't figure that out.
You are a troll. You look like a troll. You look like the wicked troll that lives under the bridge. So... See, now I'm trying to make them mad and tell me I'm out of line. So number 1 is walk away for a few. Walk away. You know, if you guys get negative feedback online, what you probably shouldn't do is immediately respond. And when you read a negative comment online, you feel your face get hot, you feel your heart start to race, and you can't stop thinking about it. And
you'll respond emotionally, not intelligently.
Exactly. And that is why you should walk away for a little while and really think about it, you know? And I know that at these times it's hard to think about the perspective of the person who's on the other side of the screen, but often they have a reason for what they've said. A lot of the times it's just hate. It's just, you know, ignorant, silly hatred for, you know, the sake of trying to get an emotional reaction out of you. But if it's a genuine, you know, negative like comment about a product or feedback about a product, you should probably start to think about, is there any validation to what they're saying, and is there any way that I can help them so that they are less unsatisfied with the purchase that they've made? So,
because sometimes there is some truth in criticism. Sounded like a turkey.
That was more of a chicken. All right, so number 2 is when dealing with these, don't be defensive.
No, definitely not.
Your job is not to try to convince them. That's not your job. And the more defensive that you are, the more likely that they're going to push the other way. Have you ever played?
Oh yeah, you're providing them a source of validation.
Exactly.
You're making them think that you're being defensive, and that means that they think that you're insecure with your response, and they think that they are right.
Exactly.
Which is why political arguments happen on Facebook.
Yeah, and you know, here's the thing about, like, we'll use political arguments as an example without talking about politics. Don't talk about politics in the comments, please.
Yep, no politics.
We don't. But let's talk about how interactions in political situations take place, just because we see those almost every day on Facebook, right? There is no resolution, and nobody ever says, you know what, you're right, or you know what, upon seeing your comment, I've reevaluated my belief system, and you make some valid points. Nobody says that. And when you see the news and you see people arguing back and forth, there is no positive to the negative, right? Nobody says, you know what, you're right, I was wrong. That never happens because people don't approach these arguments in a way that validates the other side. There is no understanding. It's basically just who can talk louder and who can make the other person look more stupid. And when you do that, when you try to make the other side look stupid, you are not ever going to win them over. Like, there is no objective to win that person over. All you're trying to do is belittle them. And if you're genuinely trying to resolve a conflict, your objective should be to make that person feel equal to you, right? Mm-hmm. So hopefully that makes sense.
Because that's the thing about arguing online, is you both have the exact same objective. And if the other person's objective is to change your mind, they're not open-minded to begin with.
Exactly.
Both sides should be open-minded.
So number 3, this one comes with reviews. When you guys get a negative review, try to make it right. And the reason that we want to try to make it right is you want to treat this customer the same way that you would hope to be treated if you were in their shoes. And a lot of the times it is their fault, but that is not an excuse for you to say something like, oh, this was your mistake, you goofed this up. And I'm not saying that you need to do this in every situation, but what I really hate is when I see posts from sellers on Etsy, this usually doesn't happen in the alpha community, but like in some of the public forums, people will say things like, this person, they asked me for this special request, and it's like something that wouldn't take them any extra time. Like they asked me to gift wrap this item separate from this item, and that's just ridiculous. And how much time do they think that I have in a day? When in reality, it wouldn't take you that long to fulfill that very simple request.
For most people.
And if you were to fulfill that very simple, very easy request, you might potentially gain a customer for life.
Yep.
So what?
Repeat customers are going to make up the majority of your income.
80% of your sales should come from 20% of your customers, meaning that repeat customers are extremely important. So pleasing the customers.
Assuming you're not a viral product.
Exactly. So making sure that you're really, really, working to make these customers extremely satisfied with the purchase that they make by fulfilling the things that they want, especially if those requests are very simple, is extremely important. So why wouldn't you try to go above and beyond if they have a simple request? Now, a lot of the times these requests do get a little bit, too crazy. I just had a request in my shop last night. I haven't responded to it yet. I set it down for the night, but someone had asked me, the person had broken up with the girlfriend that they bought the key for, and they said that they will just end up destroying the key if they keep it, and that would be a disrespect to me. So they want to know if they can exchange it, but they also broke it. So they want to know if they can exchange the broken key for a completely different key. The answer to that is no. They can exchange a broken key for the same key, but they cannot exchange a broken key for a different key. That is complete. Otherwise, people could just break their keys and exchange them, and it would be an ongoing thing of exchanging keys over and over and never having to actually buy one, right? So we can see how that would be completely irrational on the business side of things. However, this person found it to be extremely logical. So what I'm going to do is come to this person and let them know, I am so sorry that this happened. I would be more than happy to replace your key that has broken, and I could even customize it in a different color so that it reminds you less of your girlfriend. However, I cannot take a key that you have had for several months now and have broken and replace it with a completely different item. So I can set those boundaries, but what I can also do is give them a list of resolutions that they can choose from. And we talked about this in a previous Q&A. What Q&A was that? It was like before the holidays. We talked about it a bit.
Oh, I can't remember. Somebody said they liked your necklace. I got that for her for what, Valentine's Day?
Yes, our got together anniversary, our 3-year got together anniversary. So
7 years ago.
Yeah, it was a while ago. So number 4 is keep cool. Keep cool, guys.
Keep cool.
Keep cool.
Don't get angry.
Don't get heated. There's no reason to get heated.
Unless you're playing Call of Duty.
And when it comes to responding to negative comments, the people who read these comments are going to weigh heavier your response to the negativity than they are the original negative comment. So like when it comes to, we'll say like the review system on Etsy, like someone leaves you like, let me fill in a star. Yeah. All right. They leave you a 1-star review, right? And they spout some terrible about how awful your product is, and it just makes you irate and you hate it. So you can't get Etsy to remove it. There's no way, we'll assume that you've already tried to get Etsy to remove it, and it's 100% your fault that this happened. Maybe it was a shipping error, or you sent the wrong product, or, yada, yada. You've tried everything that you can. You've tried reaching out to the customer. Nothing is going to make them happy. So you decide to post a review and make sure that, or a response. And make sure that you never post a response until you try to get them to change it. Because once you post a response to the review on Etsy, you will not be able to get them to change it because Etsy kind of solidifies it once you've responded. So you write your response to their review. Which thing is going to hurt or help you more in the long run to an average reader? Well, I know that when I go shopping on Etsy, I will look at this negative this negative review, but what I want to see is how did the company
deal with it?
How did they talk to the customer? Were they accountable? Were they remorseful for their mistake? Did they actively say that they will be making changes to prevent this, whatever this is, from happening in the future? Okay, so this here is going to weigh a lot heavier in my mind than this. And when somebody leaves a negative comment, or when a shop owner leaves a negative comment on a bad review, this comment here will completely spoil my opinion of a shop faster than a negative comment will, right? Because if someone's crappy with a customer who leaves a bad review, what if I have a problem with my order? What if I genuinely need to talk to the shop owner about my order that, went wrong, and I'm afraid that they're going to respond to me like that. So I hope that makes sense. Let's move on to number 5. Do we have any comments or questions?
No.
Okay.
People said, Deb said, and they spend more time carping on Facebook than it would have taken to just do the thing. Yeah.
Exactly. Number 5, cut your emotions out of the picture. How would you respond
Walk away.
Yeah, I mean, how would you respond if you were working for a company and you were just responding to negative feedback, posted to the company that you work for? You wouldn't take it personally. It's not you. When you worked for an internet service provider, and people would call and say, your company sucks. You're the worst. You're all stupid. And he's just like, man, I just work for him, not me.
Yeah, I didn't care about that job, though.
Yeah.
I was usually a little...
But you didn't take it personally.
No, I wouldn't take it personally at all. I would just say, oh, it's not my company.
Right. And, when I worked for McDonald's, people would come in and say, your food sucks. And it's like, it's not my food. I didn't make it. I'm just taking your order,
Somebody said, it's a lot of time, but a lot of times we can't reply until it's resolved by Etsy, possibly. So if there's no reply to a negative review, how does that differ? Thing is, it's usually like if you're looking at a shop, like you're not going to see that. And nobody's
expecting there to be a response. Responses are a nice thing, but when I see a negative review, that is kind of the bottom line for me. And I don't always look for a response, and I don't see a negative review and think to myself, oh, the shop owner didn't even respond to this. That's never a thought in my head. I take that review with a grain of salt, and then I weigh it against all of the positive reviews that I'm also seeing.
And some people don't even look at the reviews. Like if they see that there's any negative reviews, it's just an automatic like nope.
Right.
So everybody's got something different.
So cut your emotions. This isn't personal. This person doesn't hate you. This has nothing to do with you as a person. When we think about that tribe mentality that we have, this one person is never, ever going to have a direct influence on your life. And though they've left a negative review or maybe a negative comment on, social media, obviously negative comments, delete and block. That's all you have to do for those. Negative reviews on Etsy, just work to do better. Work to do better and bury that bad review, because eventually it's going to be, 5 pages down and no one's going to see it anyway. So, and we're going to talk eventually about ODR. Everyone keeps asking us to talk about ODR. We don't know enough about it yet. So we'll talk about that once we know a little bit more. So that's why we haven't brought it up yet. But, and then number 6, our last one. I like this one the most. Ask for clarification. So, if somebody says, Starla, you're ugly, I might say, how so? How so? What makes me, I would like to know, how so? Tell me. If someone says, oh, your product sucks, say, how so? How could I make it better? How could I do better?
If someone says, hey, you're being negative today.
How so?
How so?
I did that too, didn't I? How so? How so? How is Mark being negative today? How so? And a lot of the times...
You see how different we respond. I just respond like a smart ass.
Well,
That's my way of dealing with it.
But think about it this way. When someone leaves a negative review on a product, we'll say, oh, this product isn't what I expected, and they leave a 1-star review. You might message them and say, hey, I just saw your review. You said that my product isn't what you expected. Can you let me know what I could have done to meet your expectations? Can you tell me specifically what I could have done so I can make sure that I improve next time? And a lot of the times, when they really pick their brain, they realize that they don't have any suggestions for you. They don't know what you could have done to do better. And the more that they think about it, a lot of people will have changed their reviews. And we've had several alphas who have talked about this, where they've gone in and they've said, you know, what could I do to do better? And when the person really starts to try to pick their own brain and decide, you know, what could this person have done to make me happier, they don't really have a direct answer. We're not.
I'm literally screwing with you. I'm being a troll. You cannot take what I say.
We're not actually up. See, you said something that we took personally, and now
I didn't take it personally.
Now we're showing. It's like the perfect representation.
See, here's the thing. When we're talking about business stuff directly, we're being serious. If it's anything else, there's a high likelihood that I'm just being a troll. So it's okay.
He's the entertainment.
You're not in trouble.
Nobody's in trouble. If you were in trouble, like, we just block people who are in trouble, and those are the people who say nasty things. Nasty. So, ask for clarification on why they believe what they believe, or why they said what they said. Can you define that? Can you tell me more? Can you explain that? Can you tell me why? Can you let me know how I can improve those things? So, all right. So my last thing, little fun fact, 68% of shoppers trust a company's reviews more when those reviews are mixed. So if someone goes to a company's page and they notice that every single review is 5 stars, there is more skepticism than if there are a few reviews that are 4 stars and 3 stars. And we encounter that all the time.
Oh, it happens all over the place, especially on stuff like Amazon. Mm-hmm. There are tons of stuff where I need some kind of like odd product that's not super needed, like a connection for something or a cable for something that's not a lot of people, and there's like 5 reviews. I always go through and read those, because if it's like a Chinese company or something like that, you can tell that they're faking it, because there'll be like 5 reviews,
identical reviews.
5 identical reviews, and it's the most broken English you've ever seen in your entire life, and they don't make any sense. Like, greatest product I've ever used, and it's like a cable for something. It's like, okay.
And every single comment is greatest product I've ever used.
Oh yeah,
greatest product I've ever used.
There was one that I saw that was like, oh man, it was like 4.8 stars or something like that, and it had like thousands of reviews. But like the first 100 reviews was literally like a paragraph copied and pasted from one person to another. So they went through and created a ton of accounts. So yeah, I don't trust things that are perfectly reviewed all the time. Sometimes I do.
Sarah said most of the time bad reviews come from customer not reading the description of what they're actually getting.
Oh my God, yes.
And that's true. And what I would say is that anything that's extremely important that they need to know, rather than putting it in the description, make sure that you find a way to also incorporate it into the photos. We have 10 photo slots, and I can almost guarantee that most of you don't use all 10. Mm-hmm. So if you need ideas for those 10, make sure that even if you have to just put text on a photo, everything that they need to know should be in those 10 photos, because Etsy has made it increasingly hard to view the description for products, especially from mobile, which is where most Etsy shoppers are shopping from. So let's go ahead and...
Somebody said, I never trust 5-star reviews. See, I always look at the best and the worst reviews. So I look at 1-star reviews first on Amazon. I do 1-star reviews to find out what could go wrong with the product.
What's the worst case scenario?
Yeah, worst case scenario. And obviously you have to filter through the people who are just, we'll just call them dumb for the sake of argument, because they are dumb. So find out what things could go wrong. Go to the 3 stars, people that wanted to leave a lower review but felt bad, so they give kind of a more honest review. And then if I'm still kind of off about it, I'll go to the 2 and 4 stars, because then you find that there's like less
in between.
There's like less trolls in the 2 to 4 star thing, so you get more serious, very direct opinion stuff. But you find a lot of idiots in 2-star reviews too. So
Yeah, and also consider, on Etsy, it's very personal. It's a handmade environment. People are more likely to want to help you out and support your company, especially if you've really fostered that connection with them by, I recommend having a photo of yourself in one of your inserts that goes in the actual package. That way they can see your face, and maybe having your story printed out, and make sure that they know a little bit about you so that they connect with you as a person. They're less likely to leave a bad review if they can have that really, deep connection with you and be able to see your face and know that you are a human.
I guess I shouldn't say idiot. Ignorant is a better term for that.
Yeah. So I would say you said dumb people.
Dumb people. Well, dumb, ignorant, whatever.
Dumb.
Same definition, right?
Dumb people. Some people just they shouldn't leave reviews online. Like, they just shouldn't. We've got people like that. Who shop everywhere. It doesn't have to just be Etsy. They're all over the place.
These people all use the internet. They've seen how some people can be. We'll just leave that at that. Some people can be people.
Some people can be people. All right, guys. If you have questions, go ahead and throw those into...
Throw them out there.
Throw them into the comments. We only have 92 viewers today. While we're waiting for comments, you guys...
Why? It's probably because you threw psychology in there, and people are like, oh no, science, it's scary.
Ew, psychology.
I'm a bit slow. I try not to leave reviews. Oh, quit.
You guys... Yeah.
I thought you... drawn something else there for a minute.
Do you guys want to see my magic trick?
Boy.
You guys want to see it?
While you're getting your questions in?
If not, you guys just have to watch my drawing.
How do you deal with friends or family who are dismissive or insulting about your business?
All right. We've got a really great Q&A. I'll touch on it. We have a great Q&A on it.
Oh yeah, we did a Q, because this happens a lot more frequently than you'd think.
Yeah, last holiday, not like this last Christmas, but the Christmas before, we did a Q&A about how to talk to your friends and family about your business at holiday gatherings, because that's often the time when you connect with people who you don't normally talk to. The weird aunts and uncles, and they're often the ones who are like, "Oh, so you're still doing that."
Oh, my family's like that.
Business thing. Oh, yeah.
We make more money than anyone in my family, and my family's pretty wealthy. I had one was my uncle last Christmas. He owns a very big, very nice house, and I was interested in purchasing a house in that neighborhood. And I asked him how much the house cost and what they cost around ballpark in the area. I didn't need to know exactly how much his house cost.
We said how much houses in the area, or how much are they running around?
There's a whole lot. I said, okay, well, how much is a lot? He's like, oh, a lot.
Like, would not tell us how much houses in the area are costing. So, yeah, we completely understand that. I would definitely recommend going and watching that video. Mm-hmm. But here's my big and I'm stealing this response, totally stealing it from Charisma on Command.
No, it's fine. It doesn't matter.
It's probably
They don't have a copyright or a trademark.
No. They've got a great channel that you guys can check out if you need more help with I actually bought their course, and I'm going to be doing like a little review for them really soon, because their course is really great.
Yeah, it's really good.
But they say that this is the best response, and I think that it's fantastic. Thankfully, I've never had to use it. But look at your family member and say, well, thankfully, you get to make decisions for your life, and I get to make decisions for my life. Because if the shoes were on the other foot, I can almost bet that neither of us would be very happy. And that kind of lets that other person know that you don't necessarily really like what they got going on either, and you wouldn't be happy with what they have. So it's kind of like a little way to sting them without, starting a fight. And you're letting them know that you're really happy with what you're doing, and you know that they're happy with what they're doing. And, good thing that roles aren't reversed, because otherwise neither of you would be happy. So that would be my number one suggestion. But make sure that you go back and watch our video from last winter, because I feel like that one's going to give you an actual list of good ideas. Let's see.
Let's see here. So that was the friends and family one. I like seeing a decent balance. Most of the time I give all shops a chance. I'm not sure how I feel about shops that only have PayPal payments. That have PayPal only payments yet. The thing about PayPal is it's easy to get your money back.
Yeah. What would turn you off about that?
Yeah, if there's something we're missing, please let us know. Because like with PayPal, it's easier to get your money back than like direct credit card purchases most of the time.
Yeah,
on most websites actually.
Yeah, exactly.
And when it comes to product reviews and stuff like that, as far as like the mixed reviews, it really just depends on the product. If it's a product from like, let's say I'm ordering something technology based, if it's like a computer component or a monitor or a microphone or something like that that we need for this, a perfect 5-star review wouldn't really turn me off for that because those kind of companies don't need to do that. It's the smaller products, or even you could even say something like Etsy shops. I think it's a little harder with Etsy because you actually have to buy the product to review it. But on things like Amazon, you don't have to buy a product. I can just hop on there and review every product on Amazon if I wanted to. Now, they do have the verified purchaser thing, so that's there, but most people don't log in to leave reviews. But anyway, let's see.
Eva.
Yeah, Eva, how to deal with not so smart or simply rude and lazy people on Etsy. I sell digital files, and I had customers expecting from me to teach them how to use a computer. Really what to do in those cases. I'll let you start on that.
Yeah, so here's the thing, guys. When it comes to people who just, they don't understand like technology, and you have to consider, we deal with this every single day. Our HAA students, we are paid to help them with those things, okay? Yes. So that we're dismissing those, but for our public inbox on Etsy, we will literally have alphas, and this is like no hate on any of the alphas who have ever done this. What we're talking about is the sheer volume of them, okay? So we will have alphas who want a click-by-click on how to download like a PDF that we've sent them, you know, for our ebooks. Like, hey, I don't know what this is. I don't know how to use it. I don't know what program. And they expect us to tell them and to take all that time, you know, to explain it to them. And if it was one person, that would be fine. But usually our inbox has at any time 50 to 60 different emails that have not been responded to because we do not have the time at that point where we're sitting and quickly responding to emails, you know, in between whatever we're doing homework with our daughter, or, you know, sometimes we have Nate take care of them. We don't have time to respond to an email that is this long, you know, and needs a click-by-click on how to do something extremely specific.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of times when I'm going through emails, I'll open an email like that. I won't even bother reading it yet. I'll just mark it as unread and I'll go on to something else.
Yeah, just
those emails that will take me like 5 minutes of reading to actually finish reading.
Right.
Like, if you write me something that's like or either of us probably, something that's like 3 paragraphs long, expect it to take a few days to get responded to.
Unless you're a student.
Unless you're a student. That's a little different.
But, right, because students pay for that. And, you know, that's why
we respond to those as fast as possible. Sometimes it might take a day or two, but we respond as fast as we can.
Right, and that's why we can't, you know, take the 50 and 60 people from the public inbox and respond, you know, super duper quickly, because we do have students who pay for our full and undivided attention.
Yeah, there's only 3 of us.
Exactly.
So we don't have the time to answer big paragraph long questions. Now, obviously, if you're a student, it's a little bit different because you paid for that.
Yeah, exactly. So students don't feel bad about it. But if you can keep those emails condensed, it does help us a lot.
Mm-hmm. But if you don't receive a response like within a week from us, shoot us another email because it might have gone to spam and we haven't seen it.
Yeah, that happens.
Or it might not have been delivered. If you use your own email delivery service or you email us from like a business email that goes through your own server, sometimes I just flat out don't get those emails.
But back to Eva's question, how to respond to these people on Etsy. What I would make sure that you do is have a lot of swipe files already pre-written out. Yes. So having, you know, files that you keep different documents on your computer that have responses to every single question that could possibly be asked. So if we notice a question that we've received a million times in the Alpha inbox, what we do is we take that question and we take whatever we responded to it and we put it in a swipe file, and we take that swipe file and we put it in Dropbox, and then Nate and Mark and I all have access to it, and we have the name of the question as the subject line. So then if we get a question that says, hey, what's SEO? I heard of this thing called SEO. What is it? We can go into our Dropbox account and we can find the title, what is SEO? And we click on that and we copy the whole thing that has, you know, an explanation of what SEO is and all the video links that we have. And usually being able to respond with that nice big email that's full of all the resources that they need is going to be much more helpful than if in that moment I actually sat and responded. Because if I had to sit and respond in that moment to every single person that emailed me, I would not be able to give every single person all of the resources that I could in that copied and pasted email. So don't think of it as being impersonal. Think of it as taking the most valuable thing that you have, your most valuable response that you possibly could have summoned, and you're able to use that every single time rather than leaving, you don't want to half-ass a email that you send to someone who has a genuine question. So have all of those on hand and ready. And also consider making a couple tutorial videos that you can use over and over again, throw them on YouTube, and then put the links to them, maybe when they make that purchase. Say, if you need to learn how to open this file, here's a video that I created. You're allowed to do that on Etsy. You're allowed to include links to YouTube tutorials on how to use your products on Etsy, as long as you're not putting a link where they can,
buy it somewhere else.
Exactly. So those are all options. You want to make it seamless for them. And I understand that things can get complicated, but you are in a digital industry. And when you're in a digital industry and you're selling a digital product, you have to be able to offer support for that digital product the same as we do for our alphas who may or may not understand. And I mean, we have things like language barriers because we have alphas all around the globe in HAA. We have, people who have literally never created a Word document, and we have to explain these things to them. But because they bought our service, that's what they've paid for. They've paid for help. So you need to make sure that, if they've paid for your service, that you are willing to help. But how to make that help easier, swipe files, tutorials, and things that you can send over and over and over again for your most common questions.
All right. And just remember, some people, and this happens in every industry, including ours, we have to respond continuously until the problem is solved, obviously, because that's what you're paying for with our product. Some people are incredibly dense. No amount of information gets through to them. All you have to do to make sure, like, if this not so smart or simply rude person you're talking about leaves a negative review, that you're doing what's required of you to hopefully get that review removed. Sometimes you can't get the review removed.
But Etsy can see your conversation with them.
Etsy can see your conversation, so stay nice and do everything that you can. But some people are just dense. They don't understand no matter what ways you explain things. Sometimes you just can't get information through to people. And it happens with us. It's happened with our Etsy business. It's happened with the alphas. It's happened with every job I've ever worked. That's just how things are. Some people are just, their ears are just, they'll ask you a question and then cover their ears.
Exactly.
Let's see.
Michaela,
once you've connected and remedied a negative review from a customer, what's that? Contacted and remedied a negative review from a customer. What is the most or best professional way to ask them to change their negative review without sounding desperate?
I usually, on the few occasions where I've had someone leave a negative review, and because I've only had a few negative reviews and I've always gotten them to change them, and it's usually not something that was like due to my error. It's usually something due to theirs. Just the typical, things that we all deal with at one point or another. Mm-hmm. I usually say, what could I have done to warrant a better review? Or is there anything that I can do to make your experience better? I take negative reviews extremely seriously in my shop. I like to say things like, I don't have any negative reviews. And I kind of make them feel like, okay, they're the first, especially if you don't have any and you get your first. Say, I've never had a negative review. So this, I want to make sure that you are happy. I don't want this to happen to another customer, and I don't want you to leave feeling this experience. And they feel like a jerk. Like when they find out that they're the only person who's ever left you a negative review and you're so willing to help them, they will feel like a big jerk. So that's something that I always recommend doing. Don't ask them to change it, but say, what could I have done to warrant a better review from you so I can make sure that I can improve? And what can I do to remedy the situation so you feel better about it? You don't ever want to ask them to change their review, but no. you can always, say...
Reverse psychology on them.
Exactly.
Let's see. Love, charisma on command. I've sold around 200 things and only have 50 some odd reviews, all 5 stars. Customers leave photos and I work really hard to get 5 stars, so I don't understand how I would be less trusted, I guess.
I don't understand what you're...
Are you asking something?
I've sold around 200 things and only have 50 some odd reviews.
I just read that whole thing.
I have had like 6,000, 7,000 sales, and I only have like 1,600, something like that. I don't even think I have 2,000 reviews. So that your ratio is pretty good. That's a pretty good ratio. I wouldn't be upset by having 50 good reviews out of 200 sales. That's not a bad thing. Definitely not something that, you know, as long as you don't have any bad reviews in there, that's not a bad conversion.
Mm-hmm. Let's see. I've been made to feel uncomfortable by most of my family and my husband's side of the family simply choosing to run my own business, and even more so because of my business being handmade or designed.
It's your choice.
Yeah,
it's your life.
It's your choice in your life. If they aren't happy with what you're doing, then screw them. I mean, the chances of your business getting big and making way more money than what they're ever going to do is way higher than them doing it at some brick and mortar. Like if they're working for somebody else, then their job is way less respectable than whatever you're doing. You're trying to make something out of nothing, and they're working for somebody who already has an established business. Most likely, I don't know your situation, but chances are, I'm assuming all those family members work for other people. So I wouldn't let that get to you.
Trying to see, I'm all the way down to Cynthia. I'm just looking for questions.
Yeah. Is it a good idea to have them handwritten as well? Talking about swipe files, I believe.
Wait, yeah, handwritten what? Handwritten notes, handwritten swipe file? What? I think it's Beverly. What do you mean handwritten? Let's see. Any other questions?
There she is. What do you think about just leaving them and just responding to the review to ensure that there's a good, healthy mix of different types of reviews? I don't like the idea of stressing about them.
I always try to resolve it.
I would message them.
Yeah, always try to resolve it. I mean, don't purposely aim to have a mix of reviews on Etsy. Don't, you know, if you can fix it, you know.
Absolutely.
If you have the ability to try to resolve something, try to resolve it. Try to make that person walk away with a good experience. Try to get them to change the review. And if you feel that Etsy should remove the review, try to get Etsy to remove it, because, you know, we do have ODR to consider. And if you haven't looked that up, just Google Etsy ODR and you can read more about it. We're not going to speak on behalf of it now just because we don't have enough information about it.
Nope, still kind of waiting on some stuff with that.
Exactly. So, but if you've made your best effort and they won't change it, then that would be, you know, one of those occasions where you just let it go. But do everything in your power to try to get it changed, and don't aim to have mixed reviews on Etsy. You know, when I said that 68% of shoppers feel more comfortable if there are mixed reviews, that doesn't mean that you should aim to have mixed reviews. It means that you shouldn't worry when you do get mixed reviews. Mm-hmm. Right? Okay. I think
you can't please everyone.
No.
That's not going to happen. And not only can you not please everyone, but you're going to goof up from time to time.
We've done it.
Everybody makes mistakes. You'll forget to include something in a package, or you might maybe dent something or damage something as you're packaging it, not see it, and then you send a damaged product or something. Stuff happens. So as long as you're sincere, most people will change their mind. You can't get everybody to change their mind. And for everybody running a business here, chances are if you continue running your business indefinitely until you retire or whatever, you're going to get a bad review. It's going to happen, and there's going to be times where there's nothing you can do about it. So it's just learning how to take criticism, I think, is just as important as learning how to deal with criticism. Like how to change somebody's mind about a review is just as important as you learning how to take the hit when they're not going to change the review. That's part of running a business. The majority of businesses fail. So to be one of those businesses that don't fail, you're going to have to learn how to take a couple of punches here and there.
Yeah, and we talk about that a lot. You know, Mark and I talk about it a lot in private, but we have a lot of alphas who, we understand that you guys have, a lot of you have very tender mindsets where it's easy to be injured, and I was in that place. But And I can remember being in that place where every single comment hurt. But if you guys want to get to the point where I am now with my Etsy shop, you will have to thicken your skin a little bit and
Yeah,
really.
it is not, running your own business is not for the thin-skinned.
No, and like for those who want to start YouTube, you are going to get hate. There are going to be
You're going to be sexually harassed. You're going to be harassed. You're going to be threatened. You're you're going to get some real nasty comments, probably about your kids, about your family, about your significant others. It just happens.
It happens. It's the thing. It's a part of putting yourself out there and not being a part of the little tribe, but becoming a part of the big, wide internet world. And you can either choose to hide and be scared of that, or you can say, you know what, screw it. I'm going to live my life and do what I want. And
this is life now.
Be appreciated. You know, we know that you guys appreciate us, and we are willing to endure comments that make us uncomfortable and hurt, and things that genuinely hurt our feelings. That way
I usually laugh.
Yeah, he doesn't care so much.
I'm a troll myself. So I think it's funny when people comment certain things, but anyway.
Yeah, I mean, you know, I get more upset when people make remarks about him. Like, I get super defensive. That's the only time I get defensive is when people say things about him because, you know, nobody knows his background and his story and what he went through in the military and why he's here with us. And, you know, it just ticks me off. But, guys, I'm going to be speaking tomorrow at an event in Miamisburg, Ohio. The link to get tickets to that is down below. You guys will be at an all-day retreat. Not all day, it's like 4 hours, morning till like 1 something. And lunch is provided, and there's going to be a lot of guest speakers, and you guys are going to get a workbook. It's going to be a lot of fun. So if you guys are interested in meeting me in person, I will be speaking at that event tomorrow. Next up, make sure that you check out the link down below with the little shirt emoji, because we are selling t-shirts, Alpha Strong shirts with the Alpha logo on them, and all of the money, 100% of the proceeds that we make from this are being donated to the Australian Red Cross to help our friends down in Australia who are dealing with all of these awful wildfires. So far, we've raised over $600, and we hope to continue the momentum. We want to sell 100 shirts. Right now, we're up to like 40-something shirts. So go grab a shirt. You guys can customize those in your own color. We've got jerseys, tank tops, hoodies, long sleeve shirts, short sleeve shirts, and all kinds of good stuff. Oh, and kids shirts. So go check those out. The fundraiser is run through Bonfire, and I've always been really happy with their quality. Don't be surprised when you get your shirt. It smells like vinegar. They do that so the colors don't bleed or something like that. I can't remember what. Colors? Someone who sells shirt, let me know. Last thing, 2020 marketing calendars are finally available. If you guys need help with your marketing, these free PDFs are down below. All you have to do is enter your name and email. You will not be double opted into my email list if you're already on my list, but the only way to get them is to click the link down below, and I will send them to you via email. Those are exclusive to this year. We change them up every year, and these actually are a 12-month calendar. Last year, I only released April to December, so these are actually January to December for 2020. A little typo on there. Make sure to fill in February 29th. I forgot that it was a leap year. So I hope that you guys have an amazing weekend. If you need us, make a post in the Handmade Alpha Facebook community. We will be pretty busy over the next few days doing this speaking event tomorrow, but we look forward to any alphas who are able to make it. Other than that, guys, have a great weekend, and we love you bunches and bunches.